The latest episode of Matlock Season 2 returned with a lot of drama, tension, and emotional chaos, especially between Matty and Olympia, who have been struggling with trust and honesty for weeks now. This episode came right before the long Thanksgiving break, so it already felt like the show was preparing us for a big pause by giving us enough drama to keep thinking about until the next new episode arrives. Even though this is not the official fall finale, the entire hour felt like one because there were so many twists, emotional moments, new case updates, and of course, a lot of mess inside the firm. The episode truly pushed the fragile connection between Matty and Olympia in a very real way and brought back more conflict around Senior, the Welbrecht's fallout, and Julian's role in everything. The episode picks up the morning after the extremely tense ending from last week. If you remember, Olympia told Matty straight to her face that she didn't even know if she wanted to be friends anymore because Matty basically forced her to hurt Julian emotionally to protect their secrets. That moment completely shook their relationship. So when the episode begins, Matty shows up with a coffee in her hand as a peace offering. But instead of talking about their feelings or trying to sort out what went wrong, both of them decide to push their personal issues aside and focus on the bigger problem, bringing down Senior and dealing with the new case Eva brings. Eva returns with a case involving nuns from her church who are facing housing issues. The moment she arrives, she immediately pulls Olympia aside for a private conversation. Eva is done waiting and wants to move ahead with staging a coup to finally remove Senior from the firm. This immediately makes Olympia's eyes widen because she knows this is the exact weapon they need to win the bigger Welbrecht's fight. She shares the news with Matty, who understands instantly that if they can get this coup to happen, it will be a major win for their long-term plan against Senior. But while they are trying to think strategically, Senior is already causing trouble behind the scenes. He corners Sarah and forces her to secretly take pictures of Julian's datebook because he suspects Julian might be stealing clients. Sarah doesn't want to do it, but Senior gives her no real choice when she admits everything to Matty. And Matty tries to carry the responsibility by deciding that she will take on the job of convincing the other partners to vote Senior out. But before anything can move forward, Julian slips on rosary beads and falls down the stairs because, of course, this show loves adding random disasters at the worst possible time. The episode then jumps ahead 1 week. Julian is now working with his right arm in a sling, and Sarah feels guilty because she thinks his fall was partly her fault. She offers to help him, but really, she is still trying to steal the datebook photos for Senior. Julian gets annoyed and calls Olympia, asking her to tell Sarah to stop meddling. Sarah flips the whole situation around and begs Olympia to help her instead. Olympia gives Julian a good reality check and tells him to use Sarah's help instead of complaining, which is honestly the push he needed. While all this is happening, Matty starts planting rumors and doubts among the partners to turn them against Senior. She casually spreads stories that make them think twice about keeping Senior in charge. Olympia isn't completely comfortable with Matty's methods. She stays quiet because she knows they need the votes. Another week passes, and together they manage to secure 21 votes, the number they need for the coup. But right when they think everything is locked in, Eva calls Olympia with terrible news. They are actually short 1 vote, and the only way to get it is by traveling to New York. Meanwhile, Sarah is still looking for a chance to snap a picture of Julian's datebook, but she fails yet again. After a difficult day in court, Matty and Olympia agree they need a little distance from each other, something Matty calls harm reduction. Time jumps again, and the team continues fighting for the nuns, whose case keeps getting more complicated. The nuns even make a small joke involving Katy Perry, which feels like a little jab at a past misunderstanding involving the singer. Even though this case is stressful, Julian manages to land incognito as a client for Jacobson Moore, which means he is succeeding without breaking his father's no poaching rule. He even asks Sarah to help him because he wants to show that he is following the rules and has nothing to hide. Soon after celebrating, Julian goes to Olympia and gives her brutally honest advice. He basically tells her that avoiding Matty is not helping anyone. Olympia finally makes the jump and shows up at Matty's place. She insists that she is allowed to be upset and take her time processing everything that happened, but she also admits that she wants to fix their friendship. At the same time, she asks Matty to help her solve the nun case because they still haven't cracked it. This moment between them is important because it shows they still work incredibly well together even when they are fighting. Sarah finally brings Senior the datebook photos even though it doesn't feel right. She knows she betrayed Julian, but she also knows Senior would have come after her if she didn't do it. While talking to an addict for the case, her own addiction gets triggered and she starts using in the car. Olympia panics and tells her to get out of the vehicle, but Matty insists she needs to stay inside for her safety. The sounds of Sarah using trigger Matty emotionally, and Olympia stays by her side, talking gently to distract her from the trauma. This moment becomes a turning point for their friendship because both of them let their walls fall and help each other through something painful. Later in court, a recovering addict speaks, and the testimony hits Matty so deeply that she hears her daughter's voice in her head. The emotional tension is heavy, but she powers through. The nuns end up winning only part of their case, so they decide to leave the church and volunteer on the streets instead, helping people directly. The biggest twist comes when Matty secures the final vote they needed for the coup, and surprisingly, she gets it from Olympia's old colleague who left the firm and became a priest. This gives the team the green light to move forward with removing Senior. And while that battle is still ahead of them, the most important thing is that Matty and Olympia finally repair their friendship by the end of the episode. After weeks of mistrust, secrets, guilt, and emotional wounds, they finally start to understand each other again. Their bond feels stronger, healthier, and more honest than before. This episode proved once again that Matlock's emotional stories are just as gripping as the legal cases. Yes, the nun's case was complicated, and yes, Senior is still causing chaos behind the scenes, but the real heart of the episode was Matty and Olympia finally coming back together. Their messy, complicated friendship is truly the center of the show, and watching them slowly rebuild it felt like the most satisfying part of the entire hour. The episode ends with a sense of hope. The coup is ready. Senior has no idea what's coming. The team is finally aligned, and Matty and Olympia are friends again, for real this time.